2025 is set to be one of the most interesting years of all time for Nintendo, with brand new hardware launching with the Nintendo Switch 2 and the final year, or more like final days, or whatever you want to call it, of the original Nintendo Switch off of a legendary run of probably 150 plus million selling units, and potentially in the future being the best selling system of all time and the best selling Nintendo device of all time, eclipsing the Nintendo DS. But like I said, things are just warming up and we've got some new information, potential leaks, potential maybe theorizing of what Nintendo's going to have in 2025 that definitely seems likely, but I wanted to delve into it a bit more and what could be happening. I also want to get into another massive Nintendo Switch 1 game that apparently is having some issues when it comes to the sequel coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Before we get into all that, what's good everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification to get my vids as soon as they drop. Now let's go ahead and jump right into this. Shout outs to Go Nintendo, Insider Gaming, and a million people that decided to let me know about this on Twitter and on my live stream. But we do have a store listing from Newegg that's talking about a brand new 3D Mario game, Legend of Zelda Remake / Remasters, coming in 2025. Now we already know that there's a brand new Mario Kart game that's going to be lit, that everyone's going to be playing in 2025 on the Nintendo Switch 2. That's probably going to be a launch title. But what else is Nintendo planning? Well, it looks like there's going to be quite a bit. Now, there are rumors of a Nintendo Direct that's coming in February. The same guy, Nate the Hate, that got the reveal trailer with the exact day ready that was going to drop. He is stating that, hey, look, he thinks that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct, and I do feel that that could be. Now, what could be at this Nintendo Direct? Well, some of this stuff potentially here listed from Newegg. Now, the 3D Mario game would probably be on the Nintendo Switch 2. And yes, a new Nintendo Switch 2 system, you can expect a brand new Nintendo 3D Mario game. I mean, that just makes sense. But it's what else is listed here. 2025 game says the listing for the Nintendo eShop $50 gift card email delivery. 2025 games, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We know that's coming. Obviously, Nintendo Direct, that could be a thing where they talk about that. New 3D Mario has not been announced at this point, but I would be shocked if there wasn't a new 3D Mario game announced with the Nintendo Switch 2. New Mario Kart game, we know about that. That's definitely confirmed, and I do think that will be a launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2. A Legend of Zelda Remake / Remaster. That is also something that we don't know that's going to be this year. It has not been confirmed, but has been rumored for like a decade. Has been rumored for like the entirety of the Nintendo Switch 2. And then it also says Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. We know that's coming March 21st. And then Pokemon Legends ZA, we do know about that. That's confirmed, and that's probably coming sometime this year. Actually, it's confirmed sometime this year. I just don't know exactly when. We have Pokemon Day. We have Nintendo Direct that could potentially coming to show us the release date and footage for that game. Now, we don't know the plans that Nintendo has for cross-gen games or for games that are coming out here on the Nintendo Switch 1 and how they're going to play on Nintendo Switch 2. We know that there's going to be backwards compatibility for the large majority of Nintendo Switch 1 games. So Pokemon Legends ZA is going to work on your Nintendo Switch 2. Anything else that comes out on Nintendo Switch 1, like Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, that will also work on your Nintendo Switch 2. Metroid Prime 4, that will work on your Nintendo Switch 2. So all of that's good, but we don't know how Nintendo's going to enhance, or what games are going to get patches, or if there's going to be anything at all, or if it's going to be a vanilla type of thing, or if it's uncapped and it's going to make it run a little bit better based off of that. So there's still details that probably need to be addressed more at the April 2nd Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. But people are talking about this because it says two games that we don't know about when it comes to Nintendo officially announced, and that is the 3D Mario game, and that is the Legend of Zelda Remake / Remaster. Now, I do believe that this is a speculative post, because they say remake / remaster. Like, what's going on there? That's not something that officially that Nintendo would give them, or maybe they heard something, but I don't think they did. Just new 3D Mario just seems like they're just saying, hey, look, it's probably going to be there. Most of the time when you get a brand new Nintendo system, they show off a brand new 3D Mario game. Most of Nintendo's launches over the last decade, when it comes to new hardware, decade plus, they will show a new Mario game. They will show a new 3D Mario game. There's been very few times that they haven't done that, but even if it's not a brand new 3D Mario game, it's a brand new 2D Mario game. Like the Wii U, they showed New Super Mario Bros. That was a new 2D Mario game that they showed. So they always show Mario overall. And I do think that with Super Mario Bros. Wonder coming out in 2023, they're obviously not going to have another 2D Mario game ready in that style. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they could if they wanted to, but it'd be more like an expansion to that game more so than a brand new game. And the 3D Mario team, since Odyssey, they haven't had anything overall when it comes down to it. Just remakes and remasters and certain things like that. But that's probably not the main power of the 3D Mario team. They've probably been spending all of their time, blood, sweat, tears, whatever the case is, working on the next big 3D Mario game. And no, it's not going to be Odyssey 2, which people keep on saying Odyssey 2. And I don't understand why people keep on saying Odyssey 2. It's already been too long for Odyssey 2, guys. Like, if they were going to do Odyssey 2, they would have done it within the first, like, 2 or 3 years after Odyssey 1. If you go back and look at all of Nintendo's games, when it comes to sequels to big 3D Mario games, they usually come shortly after the game comes out. So, for example, Super Mario 3D Land, Super Mario 3D World. Or, for example, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and Super Mario Galaxy 2. 2007, Super Mario Galaxy 2, 2010. Super Mario 3D Land, 2011. Super Mario 3D World, 2013. So, most of the time, if Nintendo has a follow-up or a sequel to a 3D Mario game, it is going to be right afterwards. 2 to 3 years later, they are not going to wait 8 years and say, all right, guys, here's Mario Odyssey 2. I'd be shocked if they did that. Now, there's still potential, but I don't think so. I think this next big 3D Mario game is going to be a brand new one with a brand new concept, brand new theme, and a bunch of really cool, innovative new mechanics, kind of like how Super Mario Odyssey really brought a lot of new moves and different styles of gameplay to the table for the Mario 3D universe. I think it's going to be the same thing here with this game. They want to go with something fresh, they want to go with something new, and they want to go with something that's going to impress overall, because you've got to impress the 150 plus million or the 100 million plus people that still have the Nintendo Switch 1, that still like the Nintendo Switch 1, the 60, 70, 80 million people, however much, that are just like, hey, look, you know, I'm okay with this. You got to impress them with games, with big titles, and it can't just be the same stuff that we've already gotten. That's why Mario Kart is going to be a big departure. No more anti-gravity. Looks like it's going to open up the racetracks. There's 24 racers, and there's a lot more stuff going on. It's going to be bigger, badder, and better for a lot of their first-party titles, and Mario is no exception. I don't think they're just going to say, okay, it's Odyssey again, but now a Super Odyssey or something like that. Odyssey 2, they're going to go with something brand new. I'm thinking that they're going to take some of the stuff that they did from Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, that Bowser's Fury section, and blow that up and see what they can do within an open-ended Mario game. I think that could be pretty cool, but we're going to have to wait and see. Legend of Zelda, we know, like, we've been knowing that this is going to happen for a while now, right? Like, Legend of Zelda, when it comes to Wind Waker HD, when it comes to Twilight Princess HD, this is stuff that Nintendo's been holding on pretty much for the whole generation at this point and waiting for the time to reveal it, waiting for the time to actually show it off. And I think that this might be it. This might finally be the time that they reveal this. They've been waiting for a number of games. We can talk about Metroid Prime 2 and 3. We can talk about Metroid Prime 4. Obviously, they've been waiting and developing that game. But I do think that The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, it's got to be these games, and it's got to be this year at this point. We have no Zelda game that we know of that's coming. Last year, we got Echoes of Wisdom. Nintendo always likes to have a new Zelda game pretty much every single year. Tears of the Kingdom was the year before that. There was Skyward Sword. There's always going to be something. There's Link's Awakening. Whatever the case is, there's always some type of Zelda title, whether it be smaller or bigger. So this is probably the year that we finally get Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. And another thing to think about, too, is that this is probably no correlation to this, but The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, that was also released pretty much at the end of the Wii U's life, as well heading into the Nintendo Switch back in 2016, where there was a lot of rumors and a lot of talk about the Nintendo Switch. So maybe it's the same thing here. Hey, let's just drop this one at the end. Maybe it's a double pack, maybe it's not. I mean, Nintendo can probably get a lot of money for each game, but we'll see what they actually end up doing. And I'm hoping that it's actually considerably better and maybe even bumped up to 60 frames. We got Skyward Sword in 60 frames. Unfortunately, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD and Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD were not in 60 frames on the Wii U. So it'd be really cool if they shored those up and put them in 60 on the Nintendo Switch or even Nintendo Switch 2. If you can do that, that would be really cool, because it was pretty dope playing a Legend of Zelda game officially on Nintendo's hardware at 60. That was the first time that I played it when it comes to a console 3D Zelda game. Some of the portable games have been that, but the console 3D Zelda games. So I think it'd be pretty dope. I've already played those multiple times, though. I just want to have them physical. So give me those so I can have them physical for my collection, because Legend of Zelda is always a game that I buy physical and I want to have it. Plus, I want to see what they do to it. I want to see how much they've actually improved it or not, or what actually happens to those games from the Wii U versions that I played all of those years ago. I don't beat the games over and over like a million times, though, so I'll probably check them out, of course. But what do you guys think when it comes down to it? This is definitely a very interesting proposition overall. I think that Nintendo still has a lot to show us when it comes to games, and it's going to be a rocking year. It's going to be a year that's going to be a shot in the arm for the industry because Nintendo's back with big Nintendo Directs and big games coming. It's exciting. Whereas 2024, they kind of took that year off and was releasing a lot of the stuff that was left in the chamber. This is the year that they actually say, okay, here's what we've been working on since 2021, you know? So here's what we've been working on with the big games for a while. That Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is going to be lit. And of course, that Nintendo Direct that's probably coming in February could be a nice send-off, the last hurrah for the Nintendo Switch 1. So that should be exciting. Now let's go ahead and get into another exciting game. And I kind of teased it a little bit of information here, potentially about Astral Chain 2 and Platinum Games. Now this is a rumor, and I don't know if this is actually going to be taken seriously or what's going on here and how it's going to be verified. But I told you guys that whenever there's information about Astral Chain, I will be on it like a hawk and give you guys at least the information. Now take it with a super Astral Chain Legion grain, okay? A Legion grain of salt when it comes down to this information. I have not been able to verify this information with any sources that I have either, but I want to give you guys the straight up answers when it comes to reporting on Astral Chain and Platinum Games and what is happening. And it's definitely not good news. I could have sat this one out, but I wanted to give it to you guys here because if this is correct, we can look back at this and say, okay, well, here's what happened. So this person says on Reddit, "Hello, I hope you are well. I'm going to make this very short and clear. I had the chance to meet someone who previously worked at Platinum Games, and I can share a lot of intriguing information. All I can tell you is that the information I got dates from before winter 2024, and it's a condensed transcript of the conversation I had with this person in Japanese. I am fluent in Japanese, but it's not my native language. I will not provide any additional information about the source. I'd rather be heard by just 5 people, regardless of how doubtful my statements might sound, than put myself and my interlocutor in serious problems." I don't know what that means. "Almost all of the information I have to share with you concerns Astral Chain 2. The project for a sequel to Astral Chain was quickly mooted in the studio, and pre-production of the project was launched early 2021. But it very quickly came up against a number of internal problems. Most of the people working on the project were required to work on other things, notably 2 games that were in development hell at this time. No further info on that, which meant that the project stagnated for a very long time, at least 6 months without any progress. To make matters worse, I don't know if this is still true today, the studio started to have serious money problems and had to make major budget cuts at all levels. For example, the human resources department was deprived of lighting for a few months." That just sounds crazy. This is my own personal note, but that just sounds absolutely crazy that there was no lighting in the building. So it's like, okay, what's going on here? But fortunately, in 2022, thanks to Hideki Kamiya, the project was finally able to get back on track and go into full development at the same time as Steel Colossus. Don't know if this game is still alive, thanks to substantial investment from third-party companies. The team behind the game was basically the same as the first game, with a few exceptions, like the character designer, who was another mangaka, but I won't mention his name to not get him into trouble. But very quickly, still in 2022, a sales representative from Nintendo will settle into the studio. After several months, major disagreements will begin to emerge between the key decision makers and Kamiya, ultimately leading to his departure from the studio the following year. Nintendo themselves reboot Astral Chain 2 project after significant delays and money being recklessly spent by Platinum Games. I don't know if this was always the case, but from this point onward, the game was planned as a title for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now I will share all information I have about the game. Warning! This information dates back to before its reboot in June 2023. First bullet point. The game was intended to be a direct sequel to the first, featuring the same protagonist with the option to transfer save data from the first game for customization. Second bullet point. The main antagonist was planned to be a wealthy businessman with a robotic/Legion arm named Maxwell. Third bullet point. The game was supposed to feature branching paths leading to radically different chapters. I don't know whether this also meant multiple endings. Fourth bullet point. One of the early levels, not the first, but among the first, was set to take place on an aircraft carrier off the coast of the city. Fifth bullet point. Among the new legions, there was to be an angel with a blade-like wings with a tiger sphinx-like creature. Players would be able to temporarily fuse their legion with elemental powers, fire, water, earth, wind. A small selection of the legions from the first game was planned to make a return. 6th bullet point, several adaptive shader technologies were somewhat experimental, were in development. 7th bullet point, the feature allowing 2-player gameplay was planned to return but with greater depth. And last bullet point, the game's story wasn't even completed during the phase of development, but discussions about a 3rd installment were already taking place. He also continues by saying, I have no news about the game after its reboot, but it's far from reassuring. All I know is that Platinum was engaging in discussions to retain the game's development, as Nintendo was threatening to hand the project or part of it over to another external studio they were in contact with. Unfortunately, I have no further details on this matter. Thank you for reading this far. That's all I know about the game. The situation at Platinum Games is truly dire, and I wouldn't be surprised if, in a few years, we start seeing people speaking out publicly about what's been happening. Have a good day. I will delete my account in the next couple hours. That's like, what's it called? Inspector Gadget. Throw the message and it blows up in like the next like few seconds. And then like somebody's always there, Inspector Gadget or whatever. But anyway, let's get back to this right here when it comes to Astral Chain. Yeah, this is definitely not good news if this is true. Now, it could not be true, but it kind of mirrors some of the stuff that's we've been hearing about. There has been an exodus of talent at Platinum Games. We know this, and that's the reason why I'm sharing this, is because there has been an exodus of talent. Takehisa Tura apparently has left Platinum Games as well, and maybe the problems that they're having was tied to Takehisa Tura leaving, if he did ultimately actually leave, and that was the main guy for Astral Chain 1. So I do feel that this is definitely information that could be correct, and even if it's not the case, there's definitely problems at Platinum Games, and it could affect what we see with Astral Chain 2. Now, the only thing that I can kind of salvage with this when it comes down to it, if this does blow up, is make Astral Chain like Platinum Edition, or make Astral Chain Remastered, where you remaster the game, spruce it up, make the frame rate at 60, improve the graphics, release that, and see what goes from there. Then if that is successful, continue to develop it or see what's going on. But once again, this is tough because we don't know what's happening since June 2023, according to this information. We're 2 years now going into it overall, and Nintendo could have something ready for us with Platinum when it comes to Astral Chain 2 at any point. It rebooted it. We don't know where in the reboot they are. We don't know how long it's going to take from there. It's just crazy right now. So it's hard to really get some type of sense of, okay, I can tell you guys it's going to be this or it's going to be that, when we don't even really know where we're at this point, or if this is even correct. But what I do know is that Platinum has been having a lot of problems, and there has been an exodus of talent there, maybe even Takehisa Tura, the guy who worked on Astral Chain as the main director. So yeah, I'm hoping that's not the case, and I'm hoping we get something, but doesn't look too good right now. But I do think that Astral Chain will continue. At some point, we will get a sequel. I think that will happen, but we're going to have to wait and see exactly how that's going to play out. But how do you guys feel when it comes to everything that we discussed here in the video? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.